Here we are again, second game down into the Summer League, and the Jazz had a little bit of a rough showing. That being said, there were significant pieces that played in game one that did not play in game two, so things were expected to be a little bit rocky at times, and just you expected to see a lot more turnovers. You expected to see poor playmaking, poor defense, and honestly, it wasn't just that people were individually deficient in that area or any of those areas. It was just more so the lack of chemistry amongst all the young guys. With that being said, they ended up losing 75-98 to the Oklahoma City Thunder, and there was a pretty decent amount to dissect here. So without any further ado, I'm going to go ahead and break this down as quick, as swiftly as possible. Try and make this at least for the duration of the Summer League. So if you're a Utah Jazz fan, go and smash that like button, subscribe, and turn on post notifications because I do this about every day. That being said, let's go ahead and hop into this one. Realistically, for the Oklahoma City Thunder, the only guys that really got off, I guess, would be Dillon and then Osman. Both of them combining, you had 7 of 8 for Dillon, 3 of 3 from beyond the arc, 4 of 5 from the free throw line. And then you had for Osman, 8 of 18 shooting, 4 of 6 from 3. All in all, it was a very good contest. They went very deep into their bench. They have 18 guys rostered, so they really had a lot of opportunity to just let some guys get some burn. And the Utah Jazz made it easy because Keyonte George, Walker Kessler, and Taylor Hendricks were all out. They weren't injured. It was just a coach's decision. And we got to see what it would look like with Isaiah Collier running the point. And honestly, I didn't hate it. I didn't love it as well. He only played for 13 minutes, 2 of 6 from the field, missed the 2 threes that he took, was 4 of 5 from the free throw line though, and had 1 assist to go with 1 turnover. All in all, he wasn't particularly great. He wasn't particularly bad. He was just kind of there. You had Kenneth Lofton Jr., who was interesting at some points. Other points, he was kind of like, what's going on here? Overall, he was 4 of 12 shooting for the game. He was 2 of 6 from 3 though. I like his willingness to be able to shoot the 3 ball. I think that does bode well for his ability to be put into small ball lineups. It's one of those things that I think makes his game a little bit more dynamic because obviously he's a shorter big, but he's stout enough to be able to hold his own defensively. He just has a little bit of a slow foot speed, which is why in a lot of pick and roll coverages during this game in particular, we saw him sink really low, and that gave up the long middies. And sometimes, more often than not, actually, the Oklahoma City Thunder ended up making him pay for that. But I don't hate that. It's just something we're going to have to watch going forward. He was 8 of 11 from the free throw line, though, which was very impressive to me personally. He also had 4 rebounds, 4 assists, which led the team. And then he had 3 steals and a block. He was tied for the lead in turnovers for the team with 3, but he had 18 points. I'm not really mad about it. The other tied leader for points was none other than Brice Sensabaugh, who in only 15 minutes, despite the fact that things defensively didn't go well and we got outscored by 18 points when he was on the floor, I liked the way that his points came. Again, I said that last game. This game, more or less the same thing. More efficient, though. He hit 1 more field goal and took 4 less and created more offense in that way. He was 6 of 8 from the field, 2 of 3 from 3. He had all 4 of his free throws go down and then had a rebound. So he's obviously showing himself not to be the most terrific playmaker, not the most terrific defender, but he's there, and not the ideal rebounder, I guess you could say, for a wing. But from a scoring perspective, he's filling it up and he's doing it efficiently. So I think right now, him coming off the bench as a 6-man kind of character, like right there, just being that scoring punch that Jordan Clarkson used to be before he had his down season last year, would be something that I think I would like to see this year, especially since the expectations are just really low in general for the Jazz team as a whole. I think that he's showing that in the minutes that he's given, he's maturing. And that's the biggest thing in my eyes, because you want to be able to say that your rookies that are going into their second year, and your second year players going into their third year, you want to see growth. If you see the same person from even during the season, then you're wondering what is their actual ceiling? What can you actually expect from them, and how far can you expect them to actually go? Because they might not care how hard they go themselves. Brice Sensabaugh, though, I was happy with his performance overall. Defensively, there were a couple lapses in judgment. I saw him ball watching a little bit, and his man was left open. He also wasn't hustling on second chance boards when the ball got tapped out and his man ended up with the ball. I saw that only 2 or 3 times, but, he only played 15 and a half minutes, so really effective scoring from that standpoint. Didn't really take away possessions from anybody else. And the thing is, if you take a shot and you're stealing the possession from somebody else, you better hit it. And today, he hit him. Going to Darius Baisley. Yes, he only played 13 minutes, but man, I love watching this man play defense. He had 8 boards, 2 of them being offensive. He only had 2 points. He was 1 of 3 from the field. He had 2 blocks. Both blocks were really just chef's kiss. I loved watching him. Just sitting down in his stance is very impressive. He's not the heaviest, so that's one thing to keep an eye on. But aside from that, he's really showcasing his ability to just really guard around and be there. He does all the dirty work. He doesn't complain. He's just a really solid guy to have in the rotation, and I could see him getting some serious minutes this year. Cody Williams played more today. He actually played the most out of the entire team at 29.5 minutes. He was 3 of 10 from the field. He was 1 of 6 from 3. The shooting stroke isn't necessarily there yet, but defensively, for the most part, I liked what I saw out of him. There was a couple possessions where he was just allowing himself to be moved off his spot, but that's to be expected considering the fact that he's, I believe, technically listed as 178, but on paper and in every website that you'll look at, he's actually 190, allegedly. Maybe that's with the shoes on, with the jersey, with some padding and stuff. But either way, he's not the stoutest, stockiest type of defender, and that's something that we're going to have to be a little bit concerned about, at least for his rookie year, because you don't want him to take too much of a bruising and a pounding. But I think his shooting stroke will come with time. I'm just glad to see that we got to see more minutes out of him, because game 1, yeah, we saw him for, I believe, 19 or 20 minutes, but it just really didn't move me with what I saw. I wanted to see more actions with him involved. He's a really great screen navigator, and I like the shots he takes. They just didn't really fall the way that I was hoping they would have fallen today, at the very least. Going towards the bench, you had Flip. He was 2 of 5 today. He did miss all 3 of his threes. Again, I'm not super concerned about it. He's 0 of 7 between these 2 games. It's going to happen. It's going to fall. I'm willing to buy into it. Defensively, though, I need him to stop ball watching. That's one thing that you're not going to be able to get away with at the NBA level. He's doing it a little bit bad. Game 1, I thought it was a little bit ugly. This game, it was definitely more ugly. There was a lot of guys that ended up scoring on his watch that should not have, but he did have 5 rebounds, 2 of them being offensive. Also had 2 assists, which was nice. Had 2 turnovers, 4 points. Tied for the worst box score plus minus on the team, along with Tavion Kinsey. But overall, I didn't hate his performance. I just know that there's more to him that we're waiting to see, and I just can't wait to see it, honestly. Then you had the likes of, like I said, Tavion Kinsey. He was 0 of 4. You had Keyshawn Justice, and he was 0 of 8. So combined, they were 0 of 12 from the field, 0 of 9 from three-point range. Ironically enough, Keyshawn Justice shot the most three-pointers on the team with that 7. Jason Preston was a decent positive when I saw him on the floor. 3 of 9 from the field, 3 of 4 from the three-point line. That means he was 0 of 5 inside the arc, though. A little asterisk there. Did hit 1 of his 2 free throws. Had 5 rebounds, 2 of them being offensive. Had 3 assists, 1 steal, no turnovers. I like Jason Preston. It just becomes a question of where does he fit in? Because do you think that he has the ability to be giving you more upside than, say, Isaiah Collier? I think that Jason Preston, as is right now, is a better floor general than Keyonte George, but I like Isaiah Collier and his ability to navigate things and just attack downhill, and he has great body control attacking the basket. I assume that it would still be the same going into the NBA, because in college and high school, he was always one of the more sturdy, more bodily, like prepared to be played and prepared to just take a beating. But being able to see him actually on the floor produce at that level is something that's going to be very important, and I love the fact that we're seeing it so far. So in a perfect world, Isaiah Collier ends up being the 1, or when the full roster is together, I guess Colin Sexton will be running the 1, and Keyonte George will be running the 2, and then Isaiah Collier will be also running the 1. I don't like Keyonte George as the point guard. I'm not seeing what I need to see from him from a growth standpoint just yet. But again, this is the summer league. We could be completely fooled. The preseason could roll around. He could flip a switch. The regular season could roll around and he really flips a switch. It comes down to what Coach Hardy and those guys see and practice every day, what they like from the game tape, what they don't like, and honestly also what his assignment is, because it could be very well that he was told to lead these guys, but also if you can't guarantee that you're going to be able to create something, just go to get that shot up, which could explain the reason why he shot as many shots as he did last game, but also unfortunately why he shot so horrendously, except from the free throw line, of course. You had Armando Bacot, you had Max Abmas, and you had Babacar Sane, and they combined for 3 of 10 from the field, 0 of 3 from three-point range, 2 of 2 from the free throw line. They were there. They got some decent burn, but nothing too impressive was shown out of them. All in all, I don't take too much to heart with this particular game individually. I liked the last game more so. This game, things looked decent coming out the gate, but as the game wore on, things just got ugly, and then they got uglier and uglier. Nobody really focused the guys back in. Part of that, you could argue, okay, the game's 40 minutes, but Isaiah Collier only played 13. Brice Sensabaugh only played 15. Darius Bazley only played 13. If these guys were playing such good minutes, why were they not on the floor? And it's just you got to see what else you have on the team, because Tavion Kinsey and Keyshawn Justice both played 22 and 23 minutes. So it's about maximizing what you have available to you and not just winning every Summer League game, because again, it is the Summer League, but also just making sure you recognize who you have on the court, because there's going to be nothing worse than realizing you had a diamond in the rough and you let him walk, or assuming that somebody's going to be really good and then they just come out there and they lay an egg. You can't just really brush over it. Or if there's an issue that a player has in a game and you've worked on it with them, and then they come out here and they're not displaying the improvement, it makes you scratch your head a little bit and wonder what exactly is going on. But all in all, my biggest winners today were probably your Darius Bazley. I liked what I saw out of Kenneth Lofton Jr. despite going 4 of 12 from the field. That 2 of 6 from 3 was something that I enjoyed, and that 8 of 11 from the free throw line I enjoyed even more, considering he's probably going to get fouled a lot when he plays. And Brice Sensabaugh, of course. Collier, for what it's worth, I enjoyed. And I think Flip has an extra gear that we're just waiting on, along with Cody Williams. Their shooting just hasn't hit just yet, but I feel like it's coming. With that being said, though, let me know what you guys saw in the game today. Was it something that you were hoping to see that didn't happen? Or what is something that you expect to see in our upcoming game to make things a little bit more interesting for the team as a whole? With that being said, it's your boy Ray Hoops. Thanks for tuning in this video. Go and smash that like button, subscribe, turn on post notifications, and become a member, or drop a super thanks to help support the channel. With that being said, good morning, good evening, and good night, no matter where you're on the globe watching. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.